Alright, what's going on, guys? Yes, Fortminorproject back at it again in here for the video for you guys for today. And in today's video for pro wrestling today, going to be talking about WWE Survivor Series 2020 and basically one of the other final pay-per-views of the year, and saying good riddance to 2020 and what a terrible year it has been. But we got the recent Bailey shirt, so had to really get that going and maybe start up buying wrestling shirts and other merchandise again, since it's been a long time. And anyway, I'm gonna get right down into it. And there's only one kickoff match where we had the interpromotional battle royal to see who would be, of course, the best of the best between Raw and SmackDown. And we had the opportunity to see The Miz actually win it and everything, so I'm not really too mad at that. I was actually going for Dominic on that one, to be all honest and everything, so actually having The Miz win it, and we'll see what happens there. No cash in at all yet, so I guess The Miz is gonna wait for the right time. When is the right time? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. And then we got the main card starting things off with the Survivor Series main one for the men and everything, having that be the opener for the show and everything. And in this one, we had Team AJ and Team Seth Rollins on this one, and this one, of course, lasting for a good while and everything. And to see if Team O was able to get along and everything. I'm happy Keith Lee was able to finally get a much better theme song than the weird one that he had when he came up to the main roster. So I'm happy they changed that. And Team Raw actually held themselves for, most of the match and everything. So they lasted for, quite a long time. SmackDown didn't really do so well and everything, ended up being down to Jey Uso at one point. Seth Rollins just basically kind of sacrificing himself, which is kind of weird. I was hoping he would actually, last a lot longer, but it is what it is. And Team Raw and Team AJ were able to get the win right there. And then we get into not really any particular order with the matches and everything, where we also had Asuka and Sasha Banks, champion versus champion. Definitely one of my favorite matches of the night, that's for sure. These two always having really dope chemistry between one another, and kind of like having like where Sasha Banks and Asuka were kind of looking for the ultimate upset at times and everything, back and forth. And these two, giving it their all, Asuka not wanting to submit, but in the end having it be the way, Sasha Banks, yes, actually winning, so that's cool. I'm fine with that. And to see what will happen for both of them, really, who's going to be able to challenge them. I'm sure, obviously, Carmella is going to want the SmackDown Women's Championship and face Sasha Banks, since she just recently returned and everything, so I could see that going for TLC. And who knows what will happen with Asuka as a result, so there's that. The next match, probably one of the least favorite matches I could care less about, really, when we had basically Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn, another champion and champion match. Slightly better than their first encounter and everything, but we had the Hurt Business there for Bobby Lashley this time. Sami Zayn trying to get away, but the Hurt Business, trying to even things up, and Bobby Lashley actually winning makes sense. And hopefully we'll get to see him do other things, especially not which is the Hurt Business, but make his way to the main event and everything, and eventually get the world title at some point. So with him being US champion, I think that's cool. Who knows what's next for Sami Zayn and who will feud with him next, but that remains to be seen on that. And then of course the women's match, where we had their Survivor Series tag team match and everything, basically for Team Nia and everything, and Team Bianca and Belair on this one. And of course Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler not really wanting to be bothered. Most of the team are not really wanting to be bothered with Lana and everything, so she was just standing there for no reason, which is stupid, as everyone else was doing their thing and everything. And where I thought Bianca Belair was actually gonna be able to get the win, since she was able to lay out Nia Jax, which is crazy, right where the virtual fans are. So that was pretty intense, but Lana somehow just ended up getting the win just by standing there. I thought that was pretty stupid. Flip side, she didn't get put through a table, which I still don't get that, and she's been through tables like 9 times, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in Raw if she gets put through a table just for probably being the sole survivor. But who knows at this point, really. So, you know, the match was fine itself, but the ending was kind of lame, just being honest on that. So it could have been a lot more better on that part. And then my other favorite match of the night, which I thought was going to be the opener, but it really didn't, where we had the New Day and taking on the Street Profits. And this one, you know, was really awesome, dope, and tremendous. Back and forth stuff. It could have went either or between the two teams and everything. And Street Profits actually getting the win, and that's cool. Can't go wrong with that. So hopefully now the tag team division will actually step up, and I know the Rascals recently were able to have their final times for Impact Wrestling, so maybe we could get them, either they go on NXT or the main roster, get other teams, you know, rising up to the challenge and everything, and to see more out of the tag team division, which is desperately needed at this point. So Street Profits, definitely cool with them winning. And then, of course, the main event where we had Drew McIntyre and, of course, Roman Reigns and everything, and this one adding more to the storytelling and having Paul Heyman out there, and of course Jey Uso getting involved a little bit, these two going back and forth. We saw like the spear, I believe, by Roman Reigns to Drew McIntyre through the barricade, which is wild. The table spot too as well. Of course, like I said, Jey Uso helping out basically Roman Reigns out of their desperation. Roman Reigns actually winning, so you know, these two, they had a hell of a match. Again, another one of those matches could have went either or, but Roman Reigns winning, you know, to keep that momentum going and to see who will actually be able to try and stop him, and maybe The Rock will actually still get involved if he's not really doing anything at this point. And maybe we will actually get that rumored match between The Rock and Roman Reigns at some point, maybe at WrestleMania, to start that build. That would be pretty interesting if it really does happen. For Drew McIntyre, who knows what will happen out of this as well. Probably still feud a little bit with Randy Orton. Who knows, maybe The Fiend. Of course, The Miz is out there looking to cash in that briefcase. So there's a lot of possibilities when it comes to that. So, you know, as a whole, pretty good Survivor Series, I will say that. And then we did get to say thank you to The Undertaker, and I wasn't ready for another retirement, and this one was definitely emotional, like the one when Shawn Michaels retired. Definitely up there with Ric Flair's too as well. So I was definitely lucky enough to see The Undertaker wrestle in person at the Royal Rumble 2008 in Madison Square Garden. And, you know, that was a treat in itself, so I at least got to see him wrestle at least once in my lifetime, so that was cool. We were able to see some legends, people close to him that would be able to be there, like Shane McMahon, Savio Vega, which is pretty cool, Rikishi, The Big Show, Kevin Nash, Booker T, JBL there, obviously Kane, and that hologram for Paul Heyman, not Paul Heyman, but for Paul Bearer. That was actually really cool on that. So seeing that hologram like that and paying homage to Paul Bearer, that was really cool to be able to see that there. So, you know, it was a really definitely emotional goodbye, and obviously Vince was there, so that made sense and everything, since he's definitely having to be where that was one of his favorite guys too. So, you know, I could kind of see him actually inducting him into the Hall of Fame, and definitely seeing The Undertaker being in the Hall of Fame at some point. If not, you know, whenever the Hall of Fame comes back, then probably in the next one. I can definitely see that as a headliner for sure. So definitely some dope times, great memories of The Undertaker. Definitely thank him for everything, for a dope childhood, whether it be him being the American Badass or the Dead Man and everything, you know, really cool stuff, definitely. And always keep on rolling, and we'll see what's up with that and everything else in between. So definitely thank you for The Undertaker for everything. And yeah, that about does it for this episode for Pro Wrestling Today. And I'll basically leave it at this with that whole emotional, basically, you know, retirement, if you want to put it this way. What are your favorite Undertaker matches and memories? Leave it in the comments and we'll talk about it. Until then, definitely leave a like on this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and to stay up to date for all my videos, and I will catch you guys in the next video, whatever the hell the next video may be. Until then, as always, stay safe.